been an exciting week. We had the commander in thief go down to the bottom part of the pipeline and say how he's really pushed for it. And if you remember, when he vetoed the Keystone pipeline, he said that they didn't have enough time to study it. Well, it came out today that the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers have looked at the Keystone pipeline for over 3 years. And they said there was no impact, no environmental impact. Everything was fine. They gave it the go-ahead. So who's blowing smoke up whose chocolate whiz-wang? You know, the thing that kind of riles me about this is the fact that you had Obama was able to pass 2,600 pages of that piece of garbage that he calls healthcare, and that came up in 6 months. And here, after 3 years, he still can't make up his mind? That's because you're not paying enough for gasoline yet. I mean, it's almost at $4.50 a gallon here. Give us a little more. You know, all we need is a little bit more time. You know, I'm sure we can get gasoline prices up to $6, $7, $8 a gallon. That'll work out fine for them. Well, now it's where it should be, so everybody can go out and buy a Chevy Torch. It used to be called a Volt, but they caught a fire, so they thought they knew it. They'd call it a Torch. Healthcare, I mean, that goes before the Supreme Court tomorrow. And it's amazing, you know. Do you think that Dick Cheney would have gotten a heart transplant had he been on Obamacare? I don't think so. They'd have turned around and said, "You've had heart problems since you were 37 years old. Die, you old fart." But no. They're gonna argue that before the Supreme Court tomorrow. And I've been listening to the news today, and it's amazing. You know, either they think we are totally stupid, or they know we're totally stupid. I'm not sure which one it is. The way they're talking about, well, you know, we really shouldn't be going up to the Supreme Court until somebody has to pay. No, the Supreme Court is there to decide whether the law of what you guys pass as a law of the land is actually constitutional. Nobody has to be impacted by it. It's just, is it or is it not constitutional? That's what the Supreme Court's going to look at. But that's okay. You know, it doesn't matter. It also came out today that you're looking at the average cost for Obamacare at about $20,000 a year for a family. I'm sure everybody's just got that extra 20 around to throw. You know, that's nothing. Shit. They just keep on playing games and keep on playing games and keep on playing games. They don't understand it. People are getting pissed. People are just damn tired of this crap coming out of Washington. You got that idiot in the White House. You got a group of them in Congress. Let's see. You've got Hairless Reid, Ballless McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Joe Lieberman. Then you got the other asshat, that goofy bimbo from the 8th District in California. What's her name? Nancy Pelosi. Who just turned around and tell you, well, you've got to pass it before you can know what's in it. But I'll guarantee you these people will be the first ones whining about their rights if we went to Washington and dragged their lazy ass right out of their offices and kicked them down the street, tarred and feather them, and run them out on a rail. They don't care what they do to the American people. They're going to do the same thing over and over and over and over again until you just can no longer take it anymore. And the people are getting fed up. You know, they talk about, unemployment's down around 8.3%. No, it's not. It's more like 22 to 25%. You know how many people are unemployed out there or underemployed? And now you're going to dump Obamacare on top of us. Yeah, that's real good. These people live in a totally different world. They live in a totally different world than the average person does. You know, well, the average person, and Joe Joseph mentioned this, you know, goes to work, comes home, drinks a few beers, watches TV or whatever. These idiots don't do that. They've got so much money, they don't need TV to be entertained. You know, it's not like a matter of should we go to McDonald's or Burger King for dinner tonight? No, it's more like, do we dine in France? Or should we go to Russia, to Moscow? We'll just hop on the plane, jump on the plane and fly on over there, and we can have borscht or Wiener Schnitzel or whatever. These people got money to burn. They think the average person is just, what the hell, we're slaves. Doesn't really matter. And then they got the gall. They got the they got the cojones to stand there and talk about, well, we should have a civil discourse in the public sector when we're talking about things that are going on. Like when they were talking about Rush Limbaugh, which now playing on YouTube and Facebook, killed Rush Limbaugh. It's amazing. It doesn't seem to offend YouTube or Facebook in the least that somebody put out a song called Kill Rush Limbaugh. But what would have happened if somebody had put out a song that said, castrate Barack Obama? Jeez, that would have been banned immediately. The FBI, CIA, Interpol, the YMCA, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, everybody be banging on his door. And they'd be arresting him for saying, why do you want to castrate Barack Obama? And he's our savior. He's our messiah. We're all going to go and kiss his royal finger. Well, Whitley pulls it out of your ass. It is amazing to me that the news media doesn't see this. And then they wonder, well, gee, they think we're in bed with the Obamas. In bed with them? I think you're more than in bed with him. I think if he ever stops fast, your face is going halfway up his ass. But that's kinder, gentler discourse. Wanted dead or alive poster issued for George Zimmerman by the new Black Panther Party. Yeah, yesterday afternoon at a press conference, the new Black Panther Party for Self-Defense circulated a wanted dead or alive poster for George Zimmerman for shooting to death the Florida teenager 4 weeks ago. Zimmerman, a self-proclaimed neighborhood watch captain, said he accosted... Oh, the hell with it. You get disgusted after reading this stuff after a while. This is Trayvon Martin. In the first place, why in the heck, where is the DOJ? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. The Black Panther Party is part of the Obama administration. To put out there a poster, a wanted poster, dead or alive, you're asking for war. You're asking for an all-out gunfight. But that's what they want. Then they can try to take the guns away, because then they'll fall right into the UN's way of doing things. Well, they took it farther than that, because yesterday, the new Black Panther Party, and nothing new about them, the same old shit that it was before, they offered $10,000 to capture Trayvon Martin's killer. So they put a bounty on this man's head. Gee, is that legal? The interesting part about this, the real interesting part about this, here we have a young man who was killed, 17 years old, by an idiot, and that's what I'm going to call this guy, an idiot. He never should have gone out there in the first place, or he should have watched him from a distance. But it took a month before things really started to get ramped up, and now you got the Black Panther Party out there, and they're offering a $10,000 reward